Hi guys, welcome to Easy Learning. Transformation of sentence affirmative and negative. Am, is, are, was, were plus adjective, negative and opposite word of adjective. If we find the word am, is, are, was, were plus adjective in an affirmative sentence, we will write the word not instead of that word am, is, are, was, were plus adjective and make the opposite word of adjective at the time of negative sentence. For example, affirmative. Man is mortal. Negative. Man is not immortal. Affirmative. She is present. Negative. She is not absent. Affirmative. My brother is a good boy. Negative. My brother is not bad boy. Always, never. Opposite word of verb, adjective and noun. If we find the word always in an affirmative sentence, we will write the word never instead of that word always and make the opposite word of the verb, adjective and noun at the time of the negative sentence. For example, affirmative. I will always remember you. Negative. I will never forget you. Affirmative. He is always present. Negative. He is never absent. Affirmative. You should always speak the truth. Negative. You should never tell a lie. Sometimes, not, always, opposite word of verb, adjective, noun. If we find the word sometimes in an affirmative sentence, we will write the word not always instead of that word sometimes and make the opposite word of the verb, adjective and noun at the time of the negative sentence. For example, affirmative. He sometimes smokes. He does not always smoke. Affirmative. The rich are sometimes happy. Negative. The rich are not always happy. Affirmative. A scholar is sometimes wrong. Negative. A scholar is not always right. Must, cannot but cannot help. If we find the word must in an affirmative sentence, we will write the word cannot but or cannot help instead of the word must at the time of the negative sentence. For example, affirmative. He must buy a grammar book. He cannot but buy a grammar book. Or he cannot help buying a grammar book. Affirmative. We must love on another. Negative. We cannot but love on another. Or we cannot help loving on another. Affirmative. You must listen to your teacher. Negative. You cannot but listen to your teacher. All, no. Opposite word of adjective verb. If we find the word all in an affirmative sentence, we will write the word no instead of the word all and make the opposite word of the verb, adjective and noun at the time of the negative sentence. For example, affirmative. All men are mortal. Negative. No man is immortal. Affirmative. All must die. Negative. No one can escape death. Affirmative. All must submit to destiny. Negative. No one can escape his destiny. For good, forever, never. Opposite word of verb. If we find the word for good, forever in an affirmative sentence, we will write the word never instead of that word for good, forever and make the opposite word of the verb at the time of the negative sentence. For example, affirmative. I have sold the house forever. Negative. I will never buy the house. Affirmative. He is left the village forever. Negative. He will never come to the village again. Affirmative. I have given up smoking forever. Negative. I shall never smoke again. Every. No. Opposite word of verb. Adjective. If we find the word every in an affirmative sentence, we will write the word no instead of that word every and make the opposite word of verb and adjective at the time of the negative sentence. For example, affirmative. Everybody is dependent. Negative. Nobody is independent. Affirmative. Everyone loves flowers. Negative. No one hates flowers. Affirmative. Everyone loves him. Negative. No one hates him. Many, not a few. If we find the word many in an affirmative sentence, we will write the word not a few instead of that word many at the time of the negative sentence. For example, affirmative. I have many friends. Negative. I do not have a few friends. Affirmative. They gave me many gifts on my birthday. Negative. They did not give me a few gifts on my birthday. A few, not many. If we find the word a few in an affirmative sentence, we will write the word not many instead of the word a few at the time of the negative sentence. For example, affirmative. I have bought a few books. Negative. I have not bought many books. Affirmative. He ate a few mangoes. Negative. He did not eat many mangoes. much, not a little. If we find the word much in an affirmative sentence, we will write the word not little instead of the word much at the time of the negative sentence. For example, affirmative, we want much water. Negative, he does not want a little water. Affirmative, Ramesh has sold much honey. Negative, Ramesh has not sold a little honey. A little, not much. If we find the word a little in an affirmative sentence, we will write the word not much instead of that word a little at the time of the negative sentence. For example, affirmative, I want a little milk. Negative, I do not want much milk. Affirmative, we sold a little honey. Negative, we did not sell much honey. Only person, none but. If we find the word only after that any person in an affirmative sentence, we will write the word none but instead of that word only at the time of the negative sentence. For example, affirmative, only good can help us. Negative, none but God can help us. Affirmative, only He can do the sum. Negative, none but He can do the sum. Only thing, nothing but. If we find the word only after that anything in an affirmative sentence, we will write the word nothing but instead of that word only at the time of the negative sentence. For example, only the moon was visible. Negative, nothing but the moon was visible. Affirmative, a played only cricket. Negative. I played nothing but cricket. Affirmative. I like only mango. Negative. I like nothing but mango. Only number age. Not more than, not less than. If we find the word only, after that any number and age in an affirmative sentence, we will write the word not more than, not less than, instead of that word only at the time of the negative sentence. For example, affirmative. Amit is only 18 years old. Negative. Amit is not less than 18 years old. Affirmative. We got only 16 marks in math. Negative. You got not more than 16% marks in math. Both and not only but also. If we find the word both and after that any number and age in an affirmative sentence, we will write the word not only but also instead of that word both and at the time of negative sentence. For example, affirmative. Both Rita and Geeta were beautiful. Negative. Not only Rita but also Geeta was beautiful. Affirmative. Ramin is both honest and faithful. Negative. Ramin is not only honest but also faithful. To, to, so that. If we find to in an affirmative sentence, we will use so that instead of that word to at the time of the negative sentence. For example, affirmative. He is too weak to walk. Negative. He is so weak that he cannot walk. Affirmative. The child was too teeny to climb up the tree. Negative. The child was so teeny that he could not climb up the tree. Alone, person, none but. If we find the word alone, after that any person in an affirmative sentence, we will write the word none but. Instead of that word alone at the time of the negative sentence. For example, affirmative, God alone can help me in this situation. Negative, none but God can help me in this situation. Affirmative, mother alone loves her child. Negative, none but mother loves her child.